Alright, son, so we're solving an absolute value equation in the form of ax plus b equals cx plus d. Before we look at the problem itself, let's go over here and look at the kind of key idea. Okay, so up here you're given two absolute value equations. You find this one, just whatever this is, you transfer right here. Whatever absolute value b is, you transfer there. Next, you take away the absolute value bars and put A, take away the absolute value bars and put B. And the only caveat here is this negative will look something like this negative when you solve the two equations, which is going to be A equals B and A equals negative B. Whatever B is for, you're still going to drop the absolute value bars and just distribute this negative in. So you have two types of equations, A equals B and A equals negative B. Remember this negative, just that distributes in. Okay, so for this problem here, we have 2x minus 9, or the absolute value 2x minus 9 equals absolute value, 2v minus 2, and the other's a v. Okay, so I look at, here's my A, here's my B. Absolute values are gone, and here's my A. The absolute value bars are gone for B. Now, I want to find out what negative B is, so I basically take that negative and distribute it in, and then I come up with negative 2v plus 2. So now I solve the two equations. So we know A is 2v minus 9. We know that B is 2v minus 2. So we solve that equation. This is equation 1 without a negative distributed in. Equation 2 is over here. 2v minus 9 equals negative 2v plus 2. So you solve those equations, and then you look to see if there's a solution. Just like you would any equation, you solve for x. In this one right here, when they solve 2v minus 9 equals 2v minus 2, blah, 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 they found out that negative 9 equals negative 2. So that's not a solution. Okay, so over here, when they saw on the second equation, they said v is 11 quarters. So if I solve this right here, notice I'm left with this 11 quarters, so there's only one solution. So these problems can have two solutions, one solution, or no solution. So again, what you're doing is taking this is A, this is B. Next, I drop the absolute value signs, but on this one right here, I have a negative 2v. This negative distributes in. So I have 2v minus 9 equals negative 2v plus 2. So remember, this was your second equation. And this was your first equation without the negative being distributed in. Okay, so same thing here. We'll kind of look at this without using the template. So we have 2w plus 6 equals 2w plus 3. Okay, so the first thing we do is we're going to write, we're going to drop the absolute value signs. This is A, this is B. And here they do it a little bit, that's the way I do it too. So the second one, remember, is going to have a negative. So 2w plus 6 equals negative 2w plus 3. So when you solve that, you get w equals negative 9 quarters. And when you solve this, that's false. So remember, you're given two absolute values. The idea is that they both equal each other. Or they should equal each other. And your job is to find out if they equal each other. So you get A and B. You drop the absolute value signs. And then, so you solve for this equation, and then you solve for A equals negative B. So so right here, and then this is the negative 2w plus 3, so that's B. Okay, so same thing here. Absolute value 2y plus 6 equals 2y minus 4. First thing we do is we take the absolute value signs and we drop them. And then we write two equations. Here we have 2y plus 6 equals 2y minus 4. That's your first equation. And your second equation is your b. You change that b to a negative b by distributing it in. So when you do that, you get two values. Here, y equals negative 2. What would that go? Can I go past that? Okay, so here, when I'm using this equation with a negative, I get y equals negative 1/2. So our left equation, a plus b, is false. And our right equation, where b is actually, we distribute a negative into the b, we get negative 1/2. Okay, same thing here. Absolute value 3x plus 5 equals 3x plus 4. Step 1, we drop the absolute value signs and we write two parentheses. The first one is going to be a equals b. And remember that this is a, this is b. The next one is going to be a equals negative b. And that means a negative, we drop the the absolute value signs, and then we distribute this negative in by putting parentheses here. So when we solve both equations, this is a equals b, and this is a equals negative b. On the left, we get that 5 equals 4, which is false. And on the right, we get x equals negative 3/2. So there's one solution. Okay, same thing, absolute value 2w plus 9 equals the absolute value 2w plus 2. First thing we do is we drop the absolute values and we make two equations. We set 2y plus 9 equal to 2w plus 2. So that's our first equation. Our second equation, the a equals negative b, so we'll have the 2w plus 9 equals, now do we distribute a negative in there, negative 2w, negative 2. So our equations look like this. The first one, where a equals b, we solve, that's false. Our second one, a equals negative b, where we're distributing the negative in, we get negative 11/4. And that's it, son. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Thank you.